This is the Lockpicker 1969, and welcome to my channel, and welcome to the next episode of Challenge Lock Workshop. We got for today our Challenge Lock Maker interview with Snake. Say hi.
Hello, everyone.
So, how long have you been making challenge locks?
I want to say about 2 years on and off. It's not something I do very often, but I do have several ongoing projects that ideally I can finish up sometime this year.
Okay. So, when did you make your first challenge lock? Was that for Blue Belt?
Yep, that was for Blue Belt, and yeah, so that was sometime in 2021, I believe. And yeah, I made the challenge lock specifically for, of course, the belt, but then realized that I really did enjoy the process and the satisfaction of, making a lock more difficult.
Yeah. So,
hmm
can you talk about your first CL that you did for Blue Belt?
Yes, it was in a rim cylinder, SC6, I'm sorry, SC4 keyway, and I did a lot of the typical stuff, threaded chambers, made some nice spools in there. I'm a big fan of spools, so I always like to make something, um, with some drastic spools in there.
I
And
I like deep
yep,
spools. Yep.
yep, exactly. And that one I actually sent over to Joe Picks, and probably at some point he sent it on to someone else, but I never did find out where that ended up. But hopefully it's in circulation and people are messing around with it.
Okay. So, at at this point, how many challenge locks would you say that you've made?
So very few actually, unlike some people they're just
Cranking them out?
pounding them out. Yeah, they're cranking them out. It's really impressive, the
Yes.
levels that some people are doing. So definitely under 10, and
J.
a
Gabriel,
lot of
cough,
them.
cough. J.
Yeah,
Gabriel, cough,
exactly.
cough. Yeah.
Yep, Jay Gabriel. He's just really cranking them out.
Yep.
He made one. He made one for me recently, so
Me
I
too.
was very appreciative to have been on that list of his.
Yep. Okay.
But yeah, I
Sorry,
do want
I
to
didn't
get
mean to
back.
interrupt you. Sorry about that.
No, no, it's fine. Yeah, so most are unfinished because I end up starting, a project, and I get most of the way through a challenge lock and then stop for whatever reason. So most of them are incomplete, but definitely under a little under 10, I would say total that I've, you know, tried to get done.
Okay. So, out of the 10, do any of them stand out as being the most difficult one for you to make?
For me to make, yeah, definitely. There was one that I made for fish picks,
Okay.
and this was a bit before he ended up taking a break from locksport, and I just encountered every single problem you could encounter during making that one. And I guess it wasn't so much that I was attempting to do something difficult, like make a like piston pins or anything like that. But I just kept coming across first like small mistakes that were just my fault, like ordering the wrong size millimeter, brass and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Yep.
But just with tooling, ended up making a lot of mistakes and learning, perfecting my method throughout that challenge block. And
Okay.
I even learned that I don't like the Dremel that I was using. I forget what model it was, but I ended up getting recommendations from people for a higher model.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Specifically, Joe Picks. He was experiencing a very similar issue that I was having. So yeah, it's definitely worth it to pay a little extra and get a better tool.
I prefer the corded ones over the ones with that are battery powered.
Yeah,
They just don't have the ability to work with you for very long before you hit to switch batteries. It just was kind of a pain, but
Exactly, yeah. And then as the battery dies, you can start losing power on it and get inconsistent results and
Exactly.
such.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, out of all the challenge locks that you've made, which one would you say, from what you've gotten back feedback wise, was the most difficult for the community to get open?
So I unfortunately I haven't gotten a lot of feedback. So and it's because I haven't sent much out. Um, so I don't really I'm not really sure how people even ended up doing with, for example, the one I made Joe Picks. He got through it pretty easily, but he's pretty talented. He's been, of course, accepting challenge locks for some time when he finally got to mine. Um, so I have to track down who else got that and ask them, what they thought about it. But to this day, I'm still not really sure which one I would consider, you know, the most difficult.
Okay. So, you obviously make have made challenge locks specifically for specific pickers. Were there
hmm
certain things that you, for specific pickers, that you felt just had to be in that challenge lock for those people?
Not exactly, but what I do like to try and come up with a theme
Yep.
for each picker, and that's one of the things I ended up really coming to appreciate is the whole theme behind it. Like it's not just what you're calling it. It's not just what's inside. Like that you can do engravings on it and just like really tie, a
Yeah.
whole theme into it.
Yep.
So I started, coming up with themes for people, and then I kind of let that um, guide me to then, come up with I guess, the blueprint of the lock. And one example, I won't give away who I'm making it for, just in case they end up hearing this. But
Okay.
those little bottles of alcohol, like you could bring like on an airplane.
Yep.
So I figured out, or observed that if you cut the bottom out, you could actually fit a rim cylinder in there. So
Okay.
someone who in particular likes to drink, and this particular type of whiskey that I have here, um, it's just like gonna set the tone for that whole challenge lock. Just being
That's cool.
inside of this this alcohol bottle.
That's cool.
Um,
Very cool.
but then of course I'll try and incorporate more things into the challenge lock that fit into that, like drunken spools and stuff like that.
Okay. So, when you're going to sit down to create a new challenge lock, whether it's for someone specific or just to create one in general, what are your inspirations for? So you create a theme. So what inspires the theme you decide to go with?
So sometimes it's completely random, like a thought just comes to me. Like for example, that collaboration that I did with Landspy Key was the Blair Witch theme, just like came to me one day. But usually I kind of like to think of um, some of the existing challenge locks that I came across that just like really stood out. A good example of that would be Cash that Bandito Brandino made.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I got that, it was just like, a different level of challenge lock making in my mind, because, he started off with the whole idea of, you know, a, a tribute lock for Cash. Like it wasn't really about how it picked at all with that particular lock.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, when I sit down, I'll end up thinking of, some of the cool stuff I saw out there, and, you know, see if I can come up with my own type of idea that would impress people in the same way
Okay. And make it fun or suit a
and
specific
make it fun.
purpose. Yeah. Okay.
Yep, exactly. Another example is one that uh, Beer Camp Bushcraft did for me, the rattlesnake one. Like I just loved that whole theme that he had there, and thought of me for that. So I love when people make challenge locks for each other.
Yeah. Okay, so you've already said that your favorite pin to create is a spool. So, what is your favorite modification to do to the either the core or the cylinder?
Yeah, so I like to try and um, mod the cylinder in a way where it really can play off of those spools. Like, especially if I make a really sharp spool, I want to mod the core in a way where it'll just like grab onto that and hold on real nicely.
Hmm.
I just really love the feedback that
So,
you get from spools,
so
and if
sharp
I
undercuts.
sharp, yep, sharp undercuts, and yeah, I've been trying to do more calculated um, undercuts. It's just so hard with the tools that I have, which is why you know I've been watching some of the videos of others and how they go about it. For example, Lance Bike, he did a few walkthroughs live of a live stream of him, and just going over how he goes about making certain mods and such. And that's one great thing about the community. There's no shortage of people who are giving out that information and
Hmm.
showing their tips and tricks. And
Yep.
you know, especially the series that you're doing, there's just so many resources for challenge lock making, which is pretty incredible.
Yeah. Well, I'd love to get him on the show sometime. That would be great. Also, get him in for an interview. So, um,
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
we'll see.
yeah.
So, okay, so basically, would you say there's any special approaches that you take in your creation and work process? Things you do first, kind of thing,
So
or and
actually,
like in the
I
order, maybe.
one thing comes to mind is the mood that I'm in. Like if I'm tired or cranky, like I definitely shouldn't be taking on that type of project. So
Hmm.
before I even start, I like to make sure that I'm nice and relaxed. So I kind of have like a little ritual where I'll get like all my tools, um, out from the closet and clean up my desk so that I'm all ready. And then I'll pour myself a drink and I'll have a beer and just get relaxed. And that's when I can then start the process and take off from there.
Okay.
It's my little ritual.
So, what are your go-to tools? You mentioned the Dremel, but
Yeah, the Dremel. But I guess my number one after that would be I have like a ultra thin razor saw. It has I think like 52 TPI
okay.
and just like a very nice wooden handle. I'm pretty sure I got it off of Amazon. But the way that it feels in hand and the way that it can just cut through those
Are you talking about a
cut
kerf
through
saw?
that brass.
They're called a kerf saw, Kerf. Yeah,
KERF.
they're
Let me.
similar. Like so, for example, if you've worked with a Japanese pole saw before or pull saw,
Uh-huh.
it has a blade on either side. Kerf has a similar blade that's very fine, but it's on just one side.
You know what? That's exactly it. I just looked it up, and the fourth image is the exact one that I own, which
There
is
you
pretty
go.
funny. Learned
I
something
use a
new.
few of those myself to do serrations and all kinds of good
Yep.
stuff. Yep. No, I
Yeah.
definitely like
Yes.
those. What else you got? What else you got in the arsenal?
Oh, I like to have I have a set from Husky that I bought. It's like a one of those 7-piece precision like needle file sets,
Ah, okay.
and the profiles in that one I think are just fantastic. And it comes with like a handle,
Yeah.
like a plastic handle that you could
Yeah.
put it in, but I've honestly never used the handle because I just feel like I can get,
More
a little
control.
bit exactly more
Yeah.
control, and I'm switching between the round profile and like the triangle one like often. So I'm not trying to, mess with the handle of unscrewing it and all that. It's, you know,
Yeah.
I just like to go in with it in
Unfortunately,
hand.
you can't buy those Husky sets anymore.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh, no.
yeah. I was looking for those before because I wanted to provide a link when I did a video on
Mm,
tools to make serrations, and tried to find the link for that, and nope, nothing.
mm,
So
wow.
I went directly because I think I got mine at, well, you get them at Home Depot. So Home Depot
Yeah.
had nothing on their website either. So, oh well, I don't know.
um, that's a bummer.
So
Um,
what else?
so, one thing I was doing was just holding the key in hand when I was like, filing down.
Mm-hmm.
And Trucking Lock, um, such a cool guy, he sent me a package a while back, and he included some of the locking pliers.
Oh, okay.
And like I've never had it, and I think he gave it to me with like impressioning in mind.
Yeah,
Um,
probably.
but
Yeah.
they but they really hold on to that key real well. Like that's just it ended up being the perfect thing for when I'm making my cuts on the keys. So that's definitely up there in the arsenal, which is nice. And then I have like a what kind of bit set do I have? I'd have to go dig it out the closet, but I'm trying to remember the brand, but very nice bits for the Dremel
Yep.
to get very precise, like little tiny balls and
Yeah.
such.
The burrs. Yep.
Yes, yep, exactly.
Yep.
So
Those are.
I found that set to be super helpful. I haven't used all profiles in it, but I've definitely used enough to get the money's worth out of it, and they're durable. They're doing the thing, doing the deed,
Yeah. So I think
and then
when I'm cutting keys,
hmm
I typically, so I've got a small handheld, almost like a pen.
hmm
It's a ball engraving tool with a long shaft before the ball on it, and it'll reach down into. So if I put a key into the core, I can put the what do you call, the engraving tip down into the hole and touch the key blade, that I can just lightly mark exactly where it is, so you at least have your starting point to start doing your cuts.
mm,
And that tends to work out for
interesting.
me anyway. But
hmm Nice,
okay, so
awesome.
what is one tool you would say every seal maker should have in their arsenal?
I think we touched on the Dremel, but I have to
Mm-hmm.
put emphasis on a good. It doesn't have to be Dremel, but just any rotary tool. But it
Yeah.
has to be good because the one that I had was I forget the exact term for the like the piece, but basically anything you put in it, it has a slight wobble to it.
Mm-hmm.
So I end up with, uneven cuts on things that I'm trying to, shape down. And, I heard that that's just a symptom of a poor quality rotary tool. So
Mm-hmm.
I think having a high quality one and one, like you said, that you can plug in, that's not
Yeah.
running off batteries. I think
Consistent
that's,
speed. Yep.
yep, exactly. And multiple speeds. I think that should be the number one tool in the arsenal. I'm sure you could go old school and shape everything by hand, but I can only imagine the pain of that because I like to do all
No,
my
thank
pins
you.
from scratch. Yeah,
No,
exactly.
no, thank you. No, I think I agree with the Dremel, but I would add to that the multi-vice.
Mm,
The multi-vice
multi-line.
will it's by Dremel. It's a Dremel multi-vice, and
hmm
essentially it turns from vice. You can have a vice with it, and you can change the mode by changing out the parts, and then it'll
Mm,
let you actually fasten your Dremel right to your bench, so that
mm,
it's holding the Dremel for you. So you're not having to even touch the Dremel or hold on to it, and you don't have to vice it up into, because I've always been like, do I really want to vice up my Dremel in like a regular bench vise and risk cracking it or anything like that? And
Yeah.
this thing is like, it's like 30, $40 and worth every penny. So, but it works with
Well,
all the nicer Dremels, the all the corded ones, for example.
nice. Well, I'm definitely putting that on my wish list because that sounds super helpful.
Yeah, I did a video on it. Check it out. I showed the whole thing in use and switching it all out from vice mode to Dremel mode. So give it a look. See if it's something that would be useful to you. So,
Awesome.
last question I'll ask. So, are there any other challenge lock makers that you take inspiration from or admire?
Yes, two come to mind. Definitely Lance Key and Jay Gabriel. Um, they've just done, excellent work, crazy modifications, and, truly tested their skills by just sending a whole bunch out to the community. And, anyone will tell you locks from them are definitely tough,
Yeah.
and impressive. So, um, I really like, they both kind of participate. Like I've Jay Gabriel in particular, like I've gone back and forth with him several times while he was making my lock because he wanted my feedback on it, and give me a say in how he made it, which I thought was really cool. It's very personalized in that way, and same thing goes with Lance by Key with that Blair Witch challenge lock that
Yep.
that he put together. It's just very impressive, and one day, if I practice, I can maybe be half as good as them.
Yeah. No, I hear you. All right. I want to thank you for doing this interview. We'll have to have you back as a picker at some point.
Oh yeah, oh yeah,
All right.
definitely.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that. So, with that being said, we'll wrap this one up. If you are already a subscriber, thank you. If you are not yet a subscriber, please hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications and all, and hit like on the video. And thanks for listening.